Hey guys, it's me, Asu. Welcome to another episode of Overthinkers podcast. I'm actually going to go ahead and remove my own reflection of myself on the camera. I'm going to remove my camera cam on my screen that I'm looking directly at because I always just get really self conscious whenever I look at myself live on the camera screen. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing because I gotta, like, as somebody, I'm sure all artists can kind of relate to this, but as nowadays in this day and age of like DIY content creation and all that, you gotta get used to you looking at yourself on the screen. You gotta get used to looking at your own face. Everybody's editing their own stuff. Like, it doesn't matter if you're Dua Lipa or Ariana Grande or me, or it doesn't matter if you're just like a 7-year-old kid. Everybody's on TikTok. Everybody is on some kind of platform editing on their own. I don't know. I feel like I'm already going on a tangent. Oh, here's to a good start, overthinkers, guys. Um, I am at least happy to report that I'm at a better mental state than I was when I uploaded that previous episode. I actually kind of didn't. I checked on my channel, the Overthinkers, the podcast channel, for the first time today since I uploaded the previous episode, and I was actually really surprised to see see that it had so many views, like significantly more. I mean, it's not like tens of thousands, but for just our little small Overthinker Society community, it's actually a lot. So I appreciate also everybody who has like commented on that video and gave me a lot of encouragement. It really helped. It really did. So thanks, guys, and thanks for just listening as well. Let me take a little sip of my juice. It's actually a very good segue into the first thing that I wanted to talk about with you guys today is, did I talk about this already? Alcohol. I'm addicted. Let's get straight into it, yo. I was having this conversation with my mom the other day, and what were I mean, obviously, I think I've told this in my previous episodes. My mom has issues with alcohol. It kind of runs in the family, apparently. Her dad, my grandpa, had issues with alcohol. He just loved drinking. Um, and just kind of passed straight down to mom, and she loves drinking as well. And yeah, we were just talking about how she's been really trying to get sober, and she always kind of tears up whenever she talks about it, is how you can tell this is like, that kind of stuff is serious matter for those who are really, really struggling. But she was like, I want to quit for you guys, for my little daughters, for you, for Sue and Youngin. And yeah, we were just talking about that, and we were talking about our drinking habits, right? And kind of through one conversation after another, I ended up telling her that recently I've been kind of drinking every day, which is the truth pretty much. I've been drinking every day, but there's a but. I told her, like, but don't worry, mom, because it's drinking every day, but only like one or two drinks. And then she said, 야, 그게 더 안 좋아. 그게 더 안 좋아, which means it's actually worse. It's actually worse that you drink every day. It's probably like the habitual part, really, that probably leads eventually to the more addictive side of that habit. So I can see why she didn't like it. And she got, of course, again, she got all teary again, like, I don't want you to end up like me. She's living a fine life, by the way. So I don't see what's wrong with it. I mean, I know she struggles, and she doesn't want me to go through the same struggles that she is going through right now. I understand. But anywho, that's kind of that conversation just kind of sprouted a little bit of thought in me recently that, man, I just realized I have been drinking a lot more than I ever had in my life. In college, first of all, I never even liked drinking. I was one of those losers who would go to parties in college or something, and with my friends, and they're like, "Oh, Sue, what are you gonna drink?" I'll just have Diet Coke. The most boring thing you could ever think of. Ain't nothing wrong with that if you're one of those. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But, like, I was just that person who never, ever, ever drank. Never had a temptation, and you know why? Because through my high school years and through to my college years, and even still to this date, I have always been a super duper weight conscious person. Like, I would probably say on a pathological level. I'll maybe get into that later on, but so I've always thought, like, oh man, I'd rather just eat I'd rather just eat a piece of pizza than to drink booze, 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 buzz, booze. That kind of theory. I guess I never really, they say, there's a saying in Korea, 늦바람이 제일 무섭다고, which means, like, the late bloomers are the scariest because they go hard. And I would say I'm pretty much, I'm quite a late bloomer when it comes to alcohol. I think it's fair to say. So yeah, recently I've been kind of drinking a lot. Dude, I really don't think it's even that much. Like, my one drink consists of a shot of vodka or gin, and I pour 2/3, so like twice as much of that. Basically 2/3 of the drink. Maybe I'm just overcomplicating my drink formula. It's really nothing fancy, but I pour mixers, usually like 0 calories, because obviously for reasons what I just mentioned, I'm very calorie conscious. So I mix it with some 0 calorie, either like squirt or like soda, diet soda, Sprite. Today I have mixed 0 sugar, like cheap version, like cheap Kroger version of Sprite. No, Squirt. So it's like, what the fuck is the fruit called? Grapefruit. Is it grapefruit? Yeah, grapefruit. And then okay, here's the spicy part. And a little pinch of mangosteen juice, which does have a lot of sugar from the mangosteen, but that's how I actually like to enjoy my drink. Damn, I'm gushing now about drinking. I love the taste of it too, that's why I'm getting into it. Like, that's the kind of little bit of flavoring that I will allow. Because, you gotta still make it a fun thing. You can't just be, oh my god, I need my fix, and the same formula as always, and just gulp it down. You gotta spice it up. You gotta rejuvenate your love for it and put as much fun into it as possible. So yeah, I've been actually experimenting with a lot of like little like drop of some fun little drinks, even if it has tons of sugar. So I'm really happy with this mangosteen juice. It adds a lot. It adds a lot to the drink flavor. I mean, that's probably what all the cocktails are, right? Like sparkly cocktails. They're probably like mostly the alcohol and mostly the like some kind of tonic, and then they add like syrup or other little flavoring shit to it. I don't know. I'm not a bartender, so I wouldn't know. So, yeah, I mean, if anybody who's listening right now has drinking, hey, you know, I really hate saying drinking problems. Everything's a problem in life. So like I hate it when we label problems, drinking problems, eating problems, work problems, socializing problems. I don't know what else there's out there. Just drinking challenges, the challenges. If any of you guys are facing, going through, or have ever experienced challenges when it came to drinking habits, just let me know. I also always like to hear other people's experiences in the same matter. On my part, personally feel zero guilt about this. Zero guilt. That's why I refuse to put it as a drinking problem. It's more of a moral issue and kind of figuring out the parameters of what is considered healthy drinking for me. So I would call it like more like an experimental phase with drinking. And all I'm saying is I'm just trying really hard not to turn this experimentation into a slippery slope where I do become overly reliant on alcohol, and thus becoming a alcoholic. I'm having a lot of fun actually. Like it's I'm sure this is like any country's, maybe except for Russia, I don't know. But it's a huge taboo in Korea to like day drink. Like I feel like happy hours are only like something that Gen Zs know in Korea. Like that kind of level. Like happy hour is like universal in America, right? Everybody kind of knows happy hours. Everybody loves happy hours. But in Korea, there's this like huge taboo. It's like, oh, if you're drinking during broad daylight, that means you're an alcoholic. It's actually I just remember that I believe it's either like Taiwan or Shanghai. It was either one that they actually forbid vendors to sell alcohol before like 5 p.m. or something like that. So any retail shops, they're not allowed to sell. Um, yeah, I think I went traveling to that country once, and mom was upset. She was not happy. At the time, I wasn't drinking, so I was like, fine, whatever. But yeah, I think Asia has generally a lot of, just has a more conservative viewpoint on substances in general, not just drinking alcohol, but like obviously marijuana. I mean, anything else is, so if marijuana and alcohol is like already baseline shameable, then imagine ketamine, fucking psilocybin, mushrooms, fucking Molly. Those things are like super duper, even more underground than it is in America, I think. So, yeah, I do wonder if my sometimes sprouting, like, is this right to drink during the day? Kind of like slight sense of guilt, maybe. I wonder if that's genuinely something to be concerned about, or really just a product of the society that I was raised in my whole life. Like I growing up in Korea, I thought drinking has always got to be a nighttime activity. But in my personal experience, I've always had a terrible time drinking too much at night. It's like, I don't know, there's something about nighttime that just drives you nuts, and you it just makes you drink like a fucking Captain Hook. Like you're like you just I personally feel like if I start drinking at night, I would drink endlessly. Like, fuck this shit. I had a rough day. I had a pretty long day. I gotta fucking wash this down with this vodka, man. Let's go, Jägermeister. Blah, blah, blah. But when I drink during the day, funny thing happens where I kind of already have this like mindset in mind. Well, it's daytime, it's work hours, so you can't go completely hammered, because other like if you're wasted then you can't do any work, and that's not responsible. That kind of level of like regulation, like self auto regulation for my own sanity kicks in a lot harder. And number two, I just have more fun doing the things that I do during the day when I have a drink or two. And if I put it like that, I feel like that's completely reasonable. Like I want to I mean like I don't want to say this to mom, cuz she's already dealing with her own issues that are much more severe than what I'm dealing with in general with substances. But like if anybody says like, "Ooh, drinking at night," I could totally just say what I just said about my stance and my experience, and it could totally be a great argument. I just end up drinking less all in all. Quite ironically, if I start drinking earlier. Like this is my second drink, and I've been dragging this out for like been dragging this out for the last 2 hours. It's still full. Do I sound like an addict who's like trying to justify, oh, it's just one drink? I don't care. It's my life, it's my body. And I like the way I feel right now, baby. I wrote down tiny little notes for what I wanted to talk about today. Look at this. Isn't this a cute post-it note? Such a cute little thing, pooty toot. Oh yeah. Speaking of substances, I have recently I wanted to talk meds a little bit. Medical time. Medical time with Sue. Pew! I recently have gone on a new meds for my depression journey, and I wanted to just kind of document it / share it with you guys. I don't know why I want to share it, but for me personally, I've gotten so much like help from like Reddit communities. Not like a ton of help, because medication is really ultimately your own unique biology, and you can't really figure out what meds work best for you or what meds don't, unless you actually try it out. But I do really appreciate the sharing of the experience for reference points, really, maybe just like to keep in mind. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about my meds that I've started recently. It's called Trintellix. We call it Brintellix in Korean for some reason, even though it's the same brand. Obviously not sponsored by by the big pharma corps. This is just my my little story time. Yeah, this was the new types of meds that I have been sent, because Prozac, Lexapro, and I've recently tried Wellbutrin, which made me freak out. I'll get into it a little bit more, but all these previous medications maybe did work for a little bit, but after like a couple months, couple weeks even to couple years. Prozac, that's what Prozac was like. It was worked fine until just recently. I just started freaking out on it. So I guess, I don't know, maybe my biology changed. Maybe it just really wasn't the right meds for me. I recently started like having anxiety attacks, panic attacks every single day. It's been pretty rough, and yeah, I had to call my dad, which I don't really feel very comfortable doing even yet, like with all the family past and the drama and all the fallouts and all that stuff. But I was so desperate that I called my dad, who's a psychiatrist, and just asked for help. Like, Prozac's not working, nothing is working, and I'm just losing hope, and I'm getting a lot of really dark thoughts that I don't want to be having, but I do. I just want to finish this. So yeah, that's how I started Trintelix, and I had a lot of fun actually researching it. This one is a little different from SSRIs, or I don't know what the type of medicine chemicals like Wellbutrin's called. It's probably like no, it's not MMORG. All these fucking all these little like acronyms are really confusing, but all that stuff aside, what I know about Trintelix is that it's very different from all the other meds I've tried, in that it has a more like sophisticated system within the chemical compounds, where it enables the healthy flow and regulation of not just one like category of feel good chemicals. Fuck, I forget. No, it's like norepinephrine, norepinephrine. I'm getting into science, which I'm not very good at, but it basically tackles both serotonin and dopamine in a like quite maybe more flexible and high tech and just more versatile way. Whereas all these meds that I've tried before were more focused on tackling like one side of the chemicals, like just serotonin or just dopamine. So I believe the Trintelix that I'm taking now is called SNRIs. SNRIs. Serotonin, norepinephrine, yeah, something like that. I just want to sound smart. That's what I'm trying to remember, but my brain's failing me, so fuck that. I had a lot of fun researching this meds. One thing that was very interesting was my boyfriend actually doesn't. My boyfriend's like a medical like expert. He's not a doctor, but he just knows so much about drugs and like chemicals and biological like anatomy shit. So he knows everything. He knows all sorts of meds that I've taken or can take and all that stuff. But even he has never heard of Trintelix, because interestingly, this is like one of the newest form of depression meds designed to cure and treat depression and anxiety out there. Mainly depression. And it is, I believe it's yeah, it's a medicine that's made by the company named like Lundbeck. I think it's like Netherlands or Germany or something like that. And so he's never heard of it, and not a lot of people in America apparently, I guess, take it, because even though it is proven to be quite safe and quite effective, it's still very, very high in price, because it's new meds, and apparently they have like 15-year like copyright, or what is it, patent period for the generics are forbidden to be made until like the original meds have gotten a lifespan of more than 15 years. So it's yeah, so it's super recent, so there's no generic. That's why it's so expensive. Oh man, bless the American spirits who are suffering from depression. Um, it's medicine cost and anything medical cost back in Korea and as a Korean citizen is really not much of a problem. It's like, for instance, to compare the price of like Trintellix that I'm taking, I did some Googling and turns out for one to get Trintellix in America, you'd have to pay something crazy like $500 for a month supply. And in contrast, in Korea, I couldn't actually find the exact price that it is sold for at pharmacies because I think like things are a little more capitalized over there. Medical stuff is more capitalized over in Korea, so it's something that like what pharmacists charge is whatever you pay for kind of thing, rather than like having one set price. I don't know if that's how it works in America, but I couldn't find the exact price, but I know that it's significantly less than $500, and I believe it's around like 20 to $60, $60 at best, but mostly like 30 bucks. So yeah, it was actually kind of crazy reading these subreddits about like threads of people like, oh man, like I'm in the Netherlands and I pay like $5 for this meds, and somebody else replies like, I'm in America, I have to pay like $300 a month. So that's pretty crazy. But yeah, so far it's been about like 10 to like 12 days since I started taking it, and it's been pretty good. Yeah. I feel like one of the biggest differences that I feel is, well, first of all, I don't have panic attacks every single day. And I feel like just general anxiety has gone down to a point where, look at me, like I'm recording another episode. Oh my God. Within the first 2 weeks of, oh my God, that's a lot. Like for OTS, like thanks for bearing with me because I only upload an episode like every like 6 months, but like it feels good to be wanting to do this and doing it a little more regularly because I love just ranting about shit and spilling the tea to you guys. It's just our little small wee little secret community that nobody knows about. um, so that's the biggest change, and the second biggest change is I have found that just a little more interest in everything. I mean, this is not no new information. It's all the symptoms of alleviated, not symptoms, but it's the effects of alleviated depression. Things like I've started journaling again. I've started keeping track of my calendars and diaries. And it's such a big passion of mine because I love scrapbooking. I love to satisfy that Virgo side of me that always needs to be planning and um, micromanaging and micro controlling. It's just my little outlet. It has always been my little outlet of practicing and being able to exercise control in the midst of living a life where it's everything is out of control, you know. And I have fallen out of that habit and my hobby over the last like year or so because I was so depressed. I couldn't, everything that I was doing felt like it was out of survival than out of interest. And it felt really frustrating not having any interest, just any interest. And like it felt like such a grind to find a hobby. I don't know if that's something that anybody else struggles with, even if like people who don't have depression, if that's something they struggle with, but it's a big significant change that I'm seeing as depression whenever like on days the cloud of depression is lifted, I instantly just find myself interested in so many things and it feels good. It feels so damn good to feel interested. Like I love art. I'm looking at right now, I'm looking at, instead of my old face, I'm looking at some really cool aesthetic Pinterest page with lots of cool outfits and art and fashion. I love journaling. I love scrapbooking. I love little nail arts. I love doing things like hands on. Like I'm already in my Halloween theme. I don't know if you guys can see, but um, I love all of these things. And I love people, only in a limited amount, but I love people. I need people. So it feels really good to finally just have a little passion for life back, just a little bit. And it's been great. So I'm happy to report that it is going a well. And yep, I got my show with Breaking Sound at a venue named the Peppermint Club in West Hollywood coming up this Wednesday. I'll put the ticket links down below. If you're in the region or you know anybody who lives in LA, just let them know because I need audience. I love shaking booty to people. The more people I shake booty to, the happier I am. Thank you. So I'm kind of cracking away with the rehearsals of that. Still making new music and new music dropping this Friday. There's a lot going on this week. Yeah, I got a new song called Luxury Life dropping on Friday everywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. And this one is a good one. I'm really excited for you guys to hear it. I call it I'll Just Dance 2.0 because it's just goofy. It's goofy, but I feel so much more proud, so much prouder about the production and the vocals and the versatility and the styles of it all. Like I'm so much prouder about this than I do about I'll Just Dance. I just want to show that I've grown as a producer and a songwriter and an artist. And I hope this is the first track that kind of like really showcases that and more to come. Yeah, we're still putting together the album and it's underway. It's underway because we're trying to actually nail down a little deal, a little distro deal with some good folks, and I really hope that it all works out favorably for all of us. And yeah, that's the kind of stuff that's gonna happen in the next couple days. And I'm also going to a party today. It's like a little like anniversary party of a fashion brand that I love called Uprisers. I've worn their shirts quite a few times on Overthinkers and like vlogs and stuff. But I'm gonna dress up really spicy today. I get to really, yeah, I get to really dress up. I love dressing up for parties, and that's one other thing. I love dressing up, and I don't dress up at all when I'm depressed. I just wear the same shirts and the same panties and the same shorts all the time, and it's gross. I smell like boogers. But that's the episode today. Um, Stay tuned for the new music this Friday. I'll also put the link to that down below. Sorry if I'm sounding like an asshole YouTuber. I'm always really self-conscious about that kind of stuff. But I'll put all the links below. But anywho, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I hope I can talk to you guys soon again. Bye bye! I love you!